That's what I'm talking about.
Hello and welcome to Trail Ready. It's that magical time of year when REI releases their annual dividend and we get to spend those funds that we've accumulated over the past 12 months. I don't need anything as far as gear goes, but I've had my eye on a product line. It's a company called Sea to Summit, and they make an incredible array of gear, ultralight gear that would apply to the backpacker, and just a bunch of different products that I thought were pretty neat. And like you, I walk through the store and I see these things on the shelf and I wonder, do they really have a place in my pack? So I grabbed a cross-section of some of the gear they had. There's a couple things I didn't get. I wish I could have got that little backpack they have that fits on a keychain. I'll get one of those sooner or later, don't worry. We'll get to try one of those out. But this is just stuff that I was able to pick up at my local REI. Been dying to take a look at some of it just mere curiosity. Maybe I'll get your feedback. You can tell me if you use it, even if it doesn't look like something that I might put in my pack. First product I want to look at is this X mug. It's a collapsible silicone mug, weighs 2.5 ounces. It holds, I think, 20 ounces of fluid. It's silicone with a plastic rim, and very cool. Folds flat, as you can see. Will take up no space in your pack. I've had my eye on these for a while, kind of debating whether I want to try it or not. Now that I have one in hand, I'm really excited to get out in the field with it. My normal mode of cooking is boil in the bag. So what I do is I take my cook pot and I boil enough water for my meal, plus a little extra for my hot cup of tea, cocoa, whatever. With this, I don't have to drink it out of my cook pot, especially if I'm sharing the pot with other hikers in my group. Now I can pour my liquid into my freezer bag and then pour the rest into my mug, and I can hand the cook pot to the next guy, and away we go. So this is going to be a neat product. I can't wait to try it out over the course of the year. I guess I'll probably comment on it and let you know how it goes. Speaking of freezer bag cooking, the next item are these titanium sporks. I carry a Thai spork made by Light My Fire. It's a great spork, has a nice big spoon on it, fork on the other end, but it weighs, I think, 7/10 of an ounce. Okay, it's not crazy heavy, but Sea to Summit's offered some other options. You have this 6.5-inch spork. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit and we'll show you what we got here. This spork is 6.5 inches, all titanium, and it weighs 3/10 of an ounce, 10 grams. 10 grams, 3/10 of an ounce. And if you're a sport kind of guy, this is probably one of the lightest options on the market for a Thai spork. Very cool. However, I like a longer spork because I am a freezer bag kind of guy. This 8.5-inch long handle, I don't even do the sport thing. Everything I eat can be eaten with a spoon. I don't need a fork or a knife for anything. It all goes down with a spoon. And this 8.5-inch spoon weighs 4/10 of an ounce. It was 11 grams. It was only slightly heavier than the smaller version. And this is definitely going in my pack this year. I can't wait to get out there and try this and see if I can't eat my meals without getting my food on my knuckles. I'm good at that. So they're the first two products I was really excited about. Then once you're done your meal, now again, I'm a freezer bag cooker. Occasionally I will cook in a cook pot. Standard operating procedure after I'm done is normally to get some water into the pot, boil it, maybe add a little soap, clean it up, right in the pot. Sea to Summit offers this kitchen sink, which is kind of neat. It's 10 liters. Storage very small, obviously. But when you open it up, This thing is big. I mean, 10 liters, I guess I should expect some good size. Has two handles, has a wire rim, and it's a good multi-use item. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, you know, when I go down to the spring, if we have a group, it's 10 liters of water I can bring up in one pot. Awesome. End of the day, I want to wash up. This is a great wash basin to wash my face, wash my hands. And it's also a great place to wash a cook pot. It's good size. This thing's got to be at least a foot in diameter. And, you know, it's a good size for most cook pots that guys would carry out there. The downside, including its little carry bag, weighs 5.9 ounces. So that's a big drawback for me, but it is a pretty heavy material. And because it's multi-use, I don't know. I'm going to debate on this one. It's neat. It's a really neat product. And if you're not real picky about throwing another 6 ounces in your pack, this might be a good option. There are other options, though, homemade options. This is cut from the bottom of a 1-gallon milk jug. I think it was Ray Jardine in Beyond Backpacking. I think that's the name of his book. He suggested a 5-gallon plastic collapsible water carrier. This weighs, I believe it's 1.1 ounces. And it is. My memory's better than I thought. This container is 1.1 ounces. You can just fold it up, jam it in your pack, and it does at least 2 of the 3 things that the other container will do. You can wash your face with it, and you can probably wash a small cook pot with this. It's not going to be good for carrying water up from the spring. That 5-gallon carrier that I was telling you about is a little bigger. It's going to weigh a little more. If it weighs too much more, then again, this might be your next best option. So they were a couple of neat things. And speaking of washing up and cleaning up things, Sea to Summit has this Wilderness Wash. This is a multi-purpose wash. It's a laundry detergent. It's a body wash, shampoo, liquid detergent for your dishes, biodegradable, pH neutral, low sudsing, phosphorus free, and it's an all-purpose cleaner. I believe this is the smallest container it comes in. Of course, every good ultralight backpacker knows about dropper bottles. Get yourself a supply of dropper bottles. They come in all different sizes, you know, and you can repackage this stuff. You don't need this whole container for a weekend or even a week backpacking trip. You can get away with maybe a dropper bottle. This, I think this is a 10 mil or even a 15 mil, you know, if you're going to use it for everything. That's certainly going to be a lot lighter than carrying this whole package around. So that's just some of the kitchen items I found. Thought they were pretty cool. Again, definitely going for the spoon and the mug and the sink we're up in the air with, but definitely very cool items to put in your pack. Quite often, one of the first pitches that a tarp user will set his new tarp up in is a lean-to configuration. They quickly learn the limitations of the pitch and they abandon it for better pitches like the Flying A or the A-frame or the half pyramid. I want to show you today a couple modifications that can be made to the simple lean-to overcome some of its shortcomings and make it a more storm-worthy shelter. The first thing we need to know when we're going to pitch in any kind of configuration that calls for a ridge line, whether it be an A-frame or a modified lean-to pitch, is how to tie the trucker's hitch. That'll give us a nice tight ridge line to start with, and that's where we want to be. So in order to tie that, I'm going to probably move the camera around and zoom in a little bit. But basically we start by tying off to one tree, and then we come over to our other tree and we measure about a foot from that tree. And we want to tie a simple knot, a bowline, an overhand knot like I'm using, a figure 8. Really doesn't matter. What matters is that when you're done, you get this nice tight little loop to work with. Now, once you have your loop, you're going to go around your second tree, and I'm going to zoom in here and show you what we're about to do. Let's just move things around a little bit. Here we go. So now the idea let's see, zoom in a little bit. The idea here is to take your loop, go around the tree, and then run the free end of your line through this loop. And what happens, boy, we're going to keep moving this camera, aren't we? Alright, this isn't working out how I thought it would. We're going to, anyway, use this loop that we made. We come around the second tree, get that ridge line nice and even, and we're going to run the free end of our line through that loop that we just formed. Now the reason we're doing that is that loop is actually going to act as a pulley, allowing me to pull down on that ridge line nice and tight. And then it's just a matter of pinching that off, and I just tie a little slip knot in there. Now what you have is this nice tight ridge line to start with. Now I get to show you how we're going to make our modifications. Alright, now that we've got our ridge line nice and tight, the first problem I want to address is the lack of protection in the front of the tarp. What I've done is I've rigged it so that we have a beak in the front of this lean-to shelter. And the way I did that, you can see I attached guy lines to the two front corners. Rather than attaching them directly to the ridge line, we're going to stake those out. So we have about, maybe a foot and a half of the tarp now hanging over the front of the ridge line. And I'm going to stake the two corners out, and I'll show you what that looks like. By adding this beak to the front of the tarp, we've already increased its storm worthiness. It'll shed the rain should it change direction and start coming in from the front. And it's also offering more sun protection if you're just lounging around under the tarp. So now we're going to address the second problem, and that is on your typical lean-to pitch, the tarp wants to belly. The wind comes up behind it, it wants to push the tarp down, or if it starts raining, the rain will actually pull on the tarp and it'll sag and it'll lay down on you while you're trying to sleep. So the way we address that is we're going to put another ridge line a little further back on this tarp. Now if you have another set of trees that are real convenient, and I have done that before, you can just use your normal trucker's hitch and rig up your second ridge line and you're all set. We're going to use trekking poles today because it's not a perfect world, and a lot of times you're lucky just to find two trees that are in the right position. So now I will show you how you do it with a couple of trekking poles, and we'll build another ridge line. Alright, the last step in rigging this ridge line with your trekking poles is to actually anchor the ridge line down. So what I've done, I've taken the liberty ahead of time to set the other side up. You saw me stake it into the ground. I've tied a clove hitch onto the handle, and I put my stake in the ground. And I'm using the tabs on the side of the tarp. I'm actually running my line through it, but not attaching it, because if you attach your line to the tarp and things start moving around, it can rip those tabs out. You want the line just to slide through. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rig up this other side. Once again, I'm going to just stick my pole in the ground, and I want a simple clove hitch on the handle, and of course take that out far enough, and then we're just going to stake that out. there you have it. Now you have your second ridgeline rigged. You can do this, like I said, if you have another set of trees, that it makes it nice and solid. It also works with the trekking poles just fine. And this gives you a shelter that as it rains, you're not going to have it bowing down with the weather and with the wind. And it's a great pitch. If you're out in front of a lake, you want a nice view, it's nice and open. And it'll sleep, this is an 8x10 tarp, and it'll sleep 2 or 3 guys. So if you've tried the lean-to before and you've been disappointed with it, give it a try again with these modifications and see if it doesn't work for you. Last year in the Adirondacks, one of my buddies managed to find a way to take a bath every day on the trip because there was so much water around. I, however, have seen trips where the water's been on just trickles in potholes every day for days on end. And I always thought, what would it be like to try this pocket shower by Sea to Summit? I've seen this thing around. I've heard of people using it who really liked it. I'm always one of those guys that really doesn't want to carry any more than I have to. You know, I keep it down to the bare minimum, although lately I find that I've been throwing a few luxury things back in the pack here and there. This pocket shower is one of those things that caught my eye, and I'm wondering if it's going to wind up there sometime this year. It's a pretty neat deal. Little stuffed sack, I think it's 5.5 ounces, something like that. It's a little lighter than that wash basin I showed you earlier. And basically, it's a waterproof bag. It's got a 10-liter mark on the inside. I'll tell you when it's full. You basically fill it up to the mark, then you roll the top, and you clip it, and then it has this convenient tie rope included with it. You can hang it from a tree branch or wherever. And there's a nozzle on the end. And this nozzle, kind of neat. You can see it's got, maybe you can or can't see, it's got holes. And basically you just twist it to regulate the shower. Now I've never actually seen this in action. So I'm going to hang it here over my kitchen sink and fill this thing with water and try it out. I originally thought about hanging it in the yard and using it in the backyard, but my neighbors already think I'm goofy enough. I'm not going to feed that fire, you know. So I'm going to turn the camera off, fill the bag, hang it, and then I'll be right back and we can get to see how much actual pressure this thing makes. They say when it's full it lasts like 7 minutes. So I want to see, you know, just what kind of job it'll do. So we'll be right back. Alright, I got the shower hung. It doesn't have 10 liters of water in it anymore. I've been playing with this thing for quite a while now. It is so cool. The thing that surprised me about it is how much pressure it actually puts out and what kind of spray. I didn't have high hopes for this. I've heard of guys buying this shower setup and saying that they liked it, and I thought, 5.5 ounces, do I really need it? Maybe not on a 2 or 3 day trip, but if I'm out on an extended trip, say it's going to be hot in the summertime, it's going to be nice to be able to get a shower and get cleaned up every 3 or 4 days or whatever. That's when the trail funk starts to set in, and I don't want that to ruin my companion's trip. Anyway, let me show you this thing. It's really cool. Can't help it. I just keep opening and closing the valve. I can't believe how cool this is. Basically, you just rotate the valve, and now it's getting low on water. But you can see it still has a decent amount of pressure to it. You know, if you watch, I don't think you can see it without my hand there. But definitely, you know, a reasonable amount of pressure to get a shower. And I guess you could actually, squeezing it doesn't change it. It's too cool. Too cool. I really like it. And I'm going to give it a whirl on some of my extended trips. And once I get a few miles on it, I'll come back probably later in the fall or next spring, and I'll be able to give you a fair assessment of what I think about this product. But this Sea to Summit shower bag, it's definitely something that I'm going to give a good hard look to. One more product while we're talking about hygiene, and that is this little beauty. I showed you the liquid soap in the first segment, and that's not for everybody. I don't like carrying any extra liquid products that I don't have to in my pack. My big concern is leakage. I didn't put the cap on tight enough, or the container gets crushed or broken, or what have you, and then I have a sticky mess in my sleeping bag or my clothes. And so I don't generally pack any more extra liquids and soaps and things than I have to. That being said, Sea to Summit has come up with this cool product in their Trek and Travel line. These are TSA carry-on compliant, biodegradable, the whole bit. Everything that the liquid soap is. And basically what they are shampoo with conditioner, laundry wash, and this one. It's my favorite. Let me get it out. I'll show you. Just a little, looks like a leaf of paper. This is toilet paper. This one little piece replaces 20 sheets of toilet paper. Nah, I'm kidding. Actually, this is body wash. This little leaf of paper, and this is what I think is so cool. Now I don't have to worry about carrying liquid. Now if I want to carry this whole pack, 50 sheets of this weigh a ½ ounce, including the container. Or I can take a little snack-sized Ziploc baggie and I can carry 4 or 5 if that's all I want to carry. This is truly, can be an ultralight product. Really cool. Basically the way it works is you wet your hands, you put the piece of I guess it's a piece of soap on your hand, and you lather it up. And it does a real good job. We use our shower, since I'm in the mood to play with the shower. And this is a body wash. It's not just a hand cleaner. You can heck, you can wash your face with it. Soaps up real good. When you're all done, let me just rinse this off. Whew. Very cool. And I can say, because my biggest concern was, is it going to feel filmy or leave a residue? No. I actually feel very clean. I like it. I'm definitely going to have it in my pack. That's definitely going to get a fair shake. And again, hopefully we'll be able to blog about it maybe in the fall and tell you what kind of opinion I have of it then. We'll get a few miles on it, and we'll talk about the shower, we'll talk about the soap, and all the other gear that we've reviewed today. So I hope you found all this informative. As always, I've had a lot of fun doing this. You don't know how much I like shooting these videos and sharing information with you. And so we're going to keep on doing it until everybody gets tired of me, I guess. So remember, there are 3 different kinds of people in this world. Those who can count and those who can't. All right, we'll see you next time here on Trail Ready. Bye-bye.